I've chosen Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, which was published in 1953. I would like to start off by making a short summary just to clarify the foundation of my interpretation. Then I would like to characterize the protagonist, the antagonist, and the girl who really ignites the whole story. Um, then I would like to discuss the settings or the setting. Then I will briefly touch the title and then discuss the themes. The summary. Um, Fahrenheit 451 is about Guy Montag, who's a third generation firefighter. He's living in this futuristic dystopia where the fireman starts fires instead of putting them out. Because in this society, books are illegal along with any other form of literature. And the fireman's job is to destroy every form of literature and all books. Um, People in this society, they're acting like robots and they have no independent thoughts, they have no meaningful conversations. Um, they're really just following the masses. Um, Guy Montag is just as any other person in this society, but then one day he meets this girl called Clarice McLellan, and she's a young girl who really challenges Guy Montag's perception of the world or the society he lives in. Um, I'll come back later to why books are made illegal and also to describing this dystopia which he lives in. Um, but this meeting with Clarice McLellan is really the center of rotation of the whole story because it starts a whole series of events like Guy Montag's wife, she's attempting suicide by swallowing a whole glass of sleeping pills, and Guy Montag is forced to burn his own house down after a stash of books is found, which of course is illegal. And because of these books, Guy Montag is afterwards arrested. The book ends with Guy Montag escaping by floating downstream the city river, where he meets this group of people called the Book People or the Book Society. Um, they're this group of self-claimed intellectuals whose purpose is to preserve literature and books throughout these dark ages, which they call the time or the society they are a part of, are trying not to be a part of. And then their goal is, after these dark ages, their goal is to rebuild civilization with books as an integrated part of society. Characterization. I think um, I would like to start off by characterizing Guy Montag. As I said before, he's a third generation firefighter, and he suddenly realizes this emptiness in his life because of Clarice McLellan, and then he starts to really question everything he is told, why he has to burn books, and he's really trying to break free of this oppression of ignorance, you could call it. Um, Clarice McLellan is described as this beautiful 17-year-old girl who introduces Montag to how or to the world's potential, the potential for beauty and for meaning and for innocence, if you just let go and stop following the strange rules and norms of society. Um, Clarice is also an outcast from society because she has these odd habits. She likes to hike, she likes to smell flowers, she also likes to ask a lot of questions. And all three are really not tolerated not by the government, not by the people. Um, the third important person, we have already described the protagonist and the girl who ignites the story, but Captain Betty, who I didn't mention in my summary, but who also is really important to the story. He is the captain of Montag's fire department, and he's really the antagonist of the story because he at least considers himself as extremely well read, but paradoxically he really hates books and every man who insists on reading them. And he's very perceptive, so perceptive that he appears to read Montag's mind or his thoughts at one point. To discuss the setting, I think it's important to clarify that we have to integrate the social and the physical setting into one analysis, because in this book it's really obvious that the social setting is created by the circumstances of the physical setting. Like in this physical setting, you'd see fast cars driving down the street and a lot of televisions in everyone's home. And these forms of entertainment is part of the creation of this of everybody being very passive. There's no conversation, very few conversations, and very few independent thoughts. So the social and physical settings is connected more than in any other book, I think. But as I said before, this is a dystopian world, a futuristic world. The people do not read books, they have no independent thoughts, they don't spend time with themselves or by themselves. But what they like to do is drive fast and watch a lot of television, and they also like to listen to radio. They have this radio called Seashell Radio, which is attached to everybody's ears. And I think, except for the Seashell Radio, I think this description of the society also fits our society today, which is kind of scary. Of course, this is not, our society is not that far gone, not as far gone as this one described in Fahrenheit 451, but there's also a tendency in our society to prefer television over books. And of course that is okay, but in the end, if people stop reading books, we will become ignorant. We can't learn everything from mass media. We're really pacifying ourselves by watching television instead of reading books, because books are a part of our education and our evolving. When we're evolving as people, we're doing that because of the influence of books and other people. But books are a part of our lives that we can't lose, I think. The title is mandatory to comment on, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory, because the title of course refers to a temperature. Fahrenheit 451 is the temperature at which books and paper catches fire and burns. And that is the rotation point of the whole book, but it's not that interesting. There's no deeper meaning with the title, it is just the temperature. The themes are very interesting. I think the main theme to discuss is censorship. The whole reason why books are banned or made illegal in this world is because minorities felt offended by some books, and when one group of minorities complained, more joined, and at last no author really felt safe when they were writing new books, and then the government decided just to ban them, just so no minority would feel inferior. And another reason why they were banned was that other forms of entertainment like television and radio became more popular. And I think that's a big problem today also, because people criticizing certain groups in society are called sexists or racists, but whether or not we agree with their stance, we have to defend their right to their opinion. Because by censoring their opinion, I think people become ignorant, and that's also a way for. We need to just allow a lot or all opinions, and then we can discuss it in a public forum. But we cannot just ban it. which is really clear in this book what will happen if we just ban certain opinions.